If you are easily offended, this may not be the podcast for you.
Pussy.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody to the Ant and CJ show. This is your boy Petty Pendergrass, sitting next to Ant.
Me.
Yeah.
Just me.
Yeah. Welcome. What it do?
What up?
What's good?
Chilling.
Are you drinking out of our faces?
I am.
Sweet. Show the people. Wow. I've never seen my face on a cup before. Except for every other time you drank out of this cup on the broadcast.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Not the first time it's making an appearance.
So, I learned something
Uh-oh.
yesterday.
Here we go.
Great French military leader, Napoleon Bonaparte,
Shortest motherfucker alive.
known for being extremely short. Have you ever heard the story of Napoleon and Josephine?
No.
Okay. So Napoleon,
First of all, who the fuck is Josephine?
Josephine is Napoleon's wife. And Napoleon, this is while he is leading the French army in a war.
Okay.
He is sending her letters back home. He sends her a letter and he says to her, "You're going to be here beside me, in my arms, on my breast, on my mouth. Take wing and come. Come. A kiss on your heart and one much lower down." Much lower. Ooh. Napoleon was getting his shit off. He was sexting, and this is the 1800s.
Was he really, though?
That was sexting back in the day. He's talking about pussy kisses while he's leading the French army into war.
Okay.
I just wasn't aware that people talked like that back in the 1800s. He also writes her again and says, "How happy I would be if I could assist you at your undressing." Ooh. The little firm white breast, your adorable face, your hair tied up in a scarf.
Okay.
You know that I will never forget the little visits, you know,
Ooh.
the little black forest. I kiss it 1,000 times and wait impatiently for the moment I will be in it.
Josephine had a bush.
Kisses on your mouth, your eyes, your breast, everywhere.
Ooh.
Everywhere.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, Napoleon, as romantic as he was, right? Because he's sending her love letters.
Uh-huh.
He's telling her that he's floating head over heels, waiting to return to her because he is so madly in love with Josephine, right?
Uh-huh.
So he gets a little break from leading the French military,
Okay.
goes back home to go and see his beloved Josephine, gets to her house, and Josephine ain't there. He waits there for 9 days, and Josephine never shows up.
Oh, shit.
It turns out that Josephine was running around with one of his military commanders and fucking somebody else.
Oh, Josephine was having her bush caressed by someone else.
Josephine fucked up.
Do we know?
But you know what my man Napoleon did?
What he did?
My man Napoleon wrote her another letter.
And what did he say?
Oh, that's right. He says to her, "Josephine, I don't love you anymore. On the contrary, I detest you.
Okay.
You are a vile, mean, beastly slut.
Oh.
You don't write to me at all. You don't love your husband.
Oh.
You know how happy your letters make him. And you don't write him 6 lines of nonsense. Soon, I hope, I will be holding you in my arms. Then I will cover you with 1,000,000 hot kisses, burning like the equator."
No shit.
So even after finding out that she's out fucking one of these other soldiers,
He still wanted some.
he's still waiting on Josephine.
Suck.
So that means Josephine had some firebox behind that black forest, as he called it.
That bush was hiding the eternal garden.
Something like it. Something like it. Napoleon is out here sexting, sending nasty shit to Josephine about her bush and how he can't wait to be in it and lick it and all kinds of nasty little freak French shit.
Oh, shit. How do you think they sexted in Egyptian times?
Hieroglyphics, a.k.a. the first emojis.
Yeah, basically.
They would probably just write on the temple walls a big picture of an eggplant with 3 little squirting tears coming out of it.
Ooh. Oh.
With 3 little teardrops just squeezing out of it. So it's crazy how even back in the day, short men were still getting played. Napoleon is out here writing poetry, leading the military, doing all these things, and Josephine's still out here fucking around with somebody tall. Isn't that fucking crazy?
This is why short men feel like they're superior in this world.
Little man
Because of people like
complex.
Napoleon. It's the Napoleon complex.
And then Napoleon, in his sadness, went and found him a little side bitch. Started running around France with her.
Oh, Napoleon moved on.
Yeah, he was getting crazy, too. He was getting crazy with that new bitch. They called the new girl Napoleon's Cleopatra.
Ooh. That sounds
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah.
That sounds
Apparently
sexy.
she was kind of fine.
Oh.
Was just running around all over town with her.
Oh. A dirty
So-
French. A dirty French girl. Would you like to butter my croissant?
I didn't know you spoke French. That's actually pretty hot.
Ah, oui, oui.
Ah, I see what you did there. Oui, oui.
Parlez-vous français? That's all I got out of high school French.
So, in the spirit of Napoleon and Josephine,
Okay.
I have a question for you.
This always leads to a question. Haven't you noticed, ladies and gentlemen? But
There's always a question.
there's always a question. Where there's a question, there's thousands of answers. But in CJ's mind, there's only one answer. And if you don't provide it, he will just turn shit up.
Of course, it's what I do. You find out that your girl has been with somebody
Okay.
while you and her were on a break.
What's the reason for the break?
Y'all just need some space. Y'all just need a little bit of time away from each other. Y'all decide to take a month off.
So you take a month off of each other because you need some space to decide if this is really what you want to continue in long term.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she decides in her month off, after, some time away from you, that she wants to be with you and that you are the one for her. She saw what was out there for a month, and she realized how much she loved you and wanted to come home.
Why is she seeing what's out there?
Y'all were on break. I mean, it just is what it is.
Doesn't matter. It's a one.
And I'm sure in that month, if you were on break, I'm sure you're playing the field a little bit also.
Not I.
No.
No.
Okay. So a break for you means that we are still together. We're not fucking other people. We are focusing on the relationship separately.
Essentially.
Okay. All right. I have a very varying idea of what break means.
So hold on. So in your mind, right? You take a break from your partner. You're like, okay, we're gonna take a month away from each other. We're gonna communicate less than what we normally communicate, and we're gonna do this in efforts to see if, ideally, we want to be together long term, and we want to make this work, and we want to do and fix all our wrongs in our relationship. Okay. You both agree. And then the next day, one of you goes out and just starts playing the field and seeing what's out there and fucking people randomly, left and right, to see if this is really where you want to come back. Like, oh, I may have fucked that girl, baby, but I thought about you the whole time.
All right.
That's when I knew it was you.
For me, a break is a breakup. I don't believe in taking a break. I feel like if we
I
are
don't believe
not
in taking a break either, so.
Yeah, I don't believe in taking a break. I believe that if we are taking a break, we're broken up. So, I mean, first things first, I don't believe in a break. If hypothetically I would ever find myself in a situation where me and my significant other have decided that we are taking a break, that's a break. I'm on break. It's a break from a relationship. When you're on spring break, you don't still go to school.
You are on break to find yourself, to identify, or basically legitimately think about the fact of whether or not you want to be in this situation long term. You're not on break to go ahead and start fucking around left and right.
Can you effectively find whether or not you want to be with somebody without exploring possibilities with somebody else?
Yes.
How?
The distance and absence, does it make the heart grow fonder?
Absence most definitely makes the heart grow fonder. Mm-hmm. Part of that absence and why the heart grows fonder is because you have the freedom of exploration now.
No. Not for a month, I'm sorry.
Explain. Tell me
Break up. Break up. Don't take a fucking break and say, okay, I'm going to take a break to figure out if this is really the relationship I want to be in. And then just start go fucking around in the field. And then if you find somebody that's, or you start messing around and you realize, okay, these people are not worth it. Let me go back to where I'm comfortable. And then end the break. No, that's not how
it's not that. What if you find yourself in a situation where you do really love a person, but y'all can't stop arguing? You see things one way, they see things another way, and y'all just can't seem to come to some common ground.
Then there's a bigger conversation that needs to be held.
Y'all get to a point where it's like, damn, we clearly love each other, but we're fighting all the fucking time. And we can't budge on whatever this serious issue is. Maybe we're just not meant to be together. And so you start having those thoughts. That's what the break is. I don't want to break off from you completely. Because I do want to be with you, but maybe we're just not designed to be with each other. So let's take some space. Let's take a minute, separate, go to our respective corners, give it some actual time, talk to each other as little as possible, give each other some actual room to miss each other. But in that 30 days, if you sit in and still abiding by the rules of relationship without actually being in the relationship, then you're not really discovering whether or not you want to be with this person. You're just discovering whether or not you want to go back to the space where y'all are completely invested in each other again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't believe in breaks at all.
I mean, I also don't believe in breaks, but I do understand.
So I don't believe in breaks. So therefore, if your idea of a break is we're essentially broken up for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, then there's no reason why you should continue in that relationship. Because you're breaking up to go ahead and start fucking around or fuck around out there to see if it's worth it. No.
You're not breaking up for the purpose of going to fuck somebody else.
No, you're breaking up, but making it okay to go fuck somebody else.
I feel like the option should be on the table, because if you want to go and fuck everybody, then you just want to be single. You don't want to do the relationship thing.
But if that thought crosses your mind and you're thinking about that, then maybe you should be single. Even before the break.
Possibly. But how do you know that you feel that way until you have the opportunity to live that way?
Follow your gut. That bitch never lies.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes your gut lies. How many times has your gut told you, I should be with this person, and you were dead ass wrong?
Was it your gut or your head? And by head, I mean the second head.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
I'm a little teapot. I don't know. I don't believe in breaks. So, therefore, I believe in fixing shit, regardless. And if you can't fix it, then go your separate ways.
I believe in the concept of breaks. I just don't believe in the concept of breaks for me, personally. I think some people need that. Some people need to be able to say, hey, we not working out right now. We need to take some time and just kind of figure out what we're doing.
100%. There are people out there that it'll benefit. And there's a lot of people out there that go to couples therapy, and the therapist tells them you need to take a break from each other. Don't communicate for 24 hours. Don't communicate for 48 hours. See if this is what's going to function for you guys. And if you miss each other, then obviously this is where you want to be. But I understand minimizing contact if you find that you're growing too dependent on the other person's presence or existence or constant need for them to be around you. then yeah, you should minimize contact a little bit, and spend a little bit more time alone, because you have to find solace in your loneliness, for lack of better words. But I don't know. It works for some people. It would never work for me. I don't believe in breaks. I can't. If you're thinking about taking a break, then obviously it's because there's a breakup on the horizon. So you might as well just break up, pull the Band-Aid. Because if you find yourself back to each other after a year or two, whatever the case may be, then all right, it was meant to be, or maybe that's what you really wanted. But I don't believe in the concept of breaks.
Yeah, and I don't either. Like I said, if ever I found myself in a situation where it was like, hey, we need a break, I'm fucking, like, we on a break. A break to me means that I'm on a break from all relationship obligations. I'm fucking. It just is what it is.
Now, during that break time, if you start fucking, what is an acceptable body count number?
However many I can get away with, because she can't ask. That's one of the rules. You're not allowed to ask what it is that I've been up to. And if you do ask, you can't get mad if I give you the honest answer. But I'm alive regardless.
100%.
Before we 100% leave the topic, let's say, have you ever broken up with your girl and gotten back together?
Yes.
Since you don't like breaks. Have you broken up with your girl and gotten back together?
I mean, they've broken up with me and gotten back with me, but yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we could say that, yeah.
In that space, when you guys were not together, if you found out that she fucked somebody, is that a deal breaker for you?
100%.
Really?
100%. I told you, I'm going to question everything. And I'm going to question, what was the reason for the breakup anyway? Was the reason for the breakup because you wanted to go ahead and fuck somebody else? Has this person
What if she was
existed?
honest with you? What if it was a situation where it was just like, y'all were just fighting a lot and she just needed a break? She fucked this guy, and then she shows you the text, she shows you the voice notes or whatever it is, and she's kind of just like, look, I met this guy, we hooked up once, it was what it was, but he made me realize that I just really love you and just want to be with you.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. The door's right there. You can walk right back out the same way you came in.
Okay.
That's just not for me, because I'm going to be thinking, and I don't want to live with the constant doubt and the constant question in my mind of, oh, are they still talking? Is she still going to go ahead and fuck him even though we got back together? Like, you could be with me, but you could go fuck around. And no, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I have PTSD.
That has to be the worst thing in the world. Your girl come back and you find out she been fucking some big dick nigga.
And she's just like, I realized that I can't take any more than the size that you have.
Yeah, some python big nigga been fucking your queen, and you just gotta accept it and just let her back in your life.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nah.
To the streets.
Yeah, no. I can't do it. I can't. I suffer from PTSD. I've had too many traumatic experiences in relationships in the past. I can't.
I get that.
I can't. So I have a question for you as a married man. Somewhere I don't see myself being for a very long time. But as a married man, right? If you were to be given a hall pass, who would your hall pass be?
Ooh. I don't just have like a person just in my mind.
Okay.
I've never considered the idea of sleeping with anybody that wasn't my wife, because I love her dearly and I am faithful, and because all I can imagine when I think of my future is the two of us together.
As she stands behind the camera with a knife.
Did I do good?
If you were to ask her the same question, what do you think her answer would be?
Johnny Depp.
Funny how there's an answer for her right away, but you can't have one.
Would you ever pay for a hooker?
If we're in Vegas and she's a why not?
That's very specific.
Well, that's because prostitution is only legal in the city of Las Vegas.
Okay.
So if we're going to a legalized brothel and there is a little person that makes eyes at me and is only willing to charge me a couple $100, then if it checks it off my bucket list, why not? I just want to see if I can spin her like a top. Literally, I really want to see if I can spin her like a top.
Like a sit and spin?
Like a sit and spin, just.
Okay. Okay. All right.
How do you think that would go? That would be amazing.
Probably be great on all fronts, especially if she squirts.
Squirtle. Squirtle. I mean, then I'd be looking at then I'd literally be looking at her like Squirtle because she's the size of a Pokemon. And
Anywho, moving on.
kind of sort. You know, I actually had this thought once in the past because I'm like, wait, women will say, oh, you got to pay for the room. Like, if you want to meet up, they'll be like, oh, you got to pay for the room or you got to pay for this. So clearly you're putting out money for the pussy. So are they selling the pussy?
The only real difference is that you're not paying for the pussy. Or, I mean, you're just not giving the money to them for the pussy. You're giving it to the Holiday Inn and Longhorn Steakhouse. You're paying for the pussy through a third party.
The fact that you...
Shout out to PayPal.
The fact that you go to Longhorn and that you're going to the Holiday Inn, it's hilarious.
I gotta feed her some tender meat to get her ready for mine.
Hey, chorizo.
Ow.
Some long grilled sausage.
Oh, yes. Give her this porterhouse, you know what I mean?
Hey, with the T-bone.
Got a nice thick cut.
See if she's a New York strip.
Whoosh.
Sirloin.
Trying to gravy those potatoes, you know what I mean?
Oh, shit.
Ow.
A little charred broccoli if she has a bush.
Charred broccoli.
Trying
That's
to
funny.
glaze her Cinnabon.
That is funny. But yeah, I was having a interesting discussion recently about prostitution. And
Like, why were you having a conversation about prostitution?
You know, me and my mom just start talking about things
With
sometimes.
your mom. Okay.
Yes.
All right. No problem.
Okay, my mom was arguing that women who turn to prostitution often feel like they don't have other options, and that they are being taken advantage of by the men in those scenarios. And my argument was, if anything, it's the men that are being taken advantage of.
It's the POP.
The POP?
The power of pussy.
Yeah, all men are paying for pussy in one way or another.
Oh, 100%.
Because
I mean,
all relationships are transactional.
we are whining and dining. We are paying for the room if we don't live alone, or they don't live alone. We are buying them little things here and there. So, yeah.
I don't even mean just with like the items and the gifts that I will provide for you in exchange for your company. But even in marriage, my wife would not be married to me if she didn't feel safe being married to me. If I didn't provide her stability and comfort and security, she would not be my wife. The fact that I provide those things for her, in exchange, she has given me her hand in marriage. It is fully transactional. Yeah, there's love and there's feelings that are involved, but there's loves and feelings involved in everything. I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's why when I see that shit, I buy that shit. All relationships are transactional, and I don't think that the sex worker relationship is any different. Except I'm catering to a specific need.
This is true.
One of these days, I'm going to get my mom to come on here so that she can have the conversation with us. Because
oh, my lordy.
She explains it a lot better from the female perspective than I does.
That would be interesting.
It'll be great.
I would be curious to see how that goes.
2-minute warning.
What you got for your 2-minute warning today?
So, I wanted to see if you agreed. I saw online that somebody created the prototype of the perfect baseball player.
Okay.
And I wanted to see if you agreed with it.
Okay.
So they broke this down into 6 categories.
All right.
They broke this down into batter's eye, fielding, strength, swing, power, and speed.
Okay.
Okay? So
Okay.
according to this internet person who shall remain nameless because of copyright infringement and trademark probably,
Okay.
but according to this individual, they said that the perfect baseball player would have the batter's eye of Ted Williams,
That's a good one. Okay.
the swing of Ken Griffey Jr.,
Okay.
the power of Barry Bonds,
I'm with them so far.
the fielding of Ozzie Smith,
Ooh. Okay.
the strength, the arm strength of Ichiro Suzuki,
Okay.
and the speed of Ricky Henderson.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on this? See, me personally, for fielding, I would have probably gone Dark Jeter.
Jeter has always been a tricky one for me because while I feel like Jeter was great at making adjustments, he was usually a little bit slower on the jump, and that's why he had to make a lot of those jump throws. A lot of those jump throws that he had to make, that twisting, the Jeter throw, that twisting Jeter throw from deep in shortstop, close to that left field, outfield grass. A lot of those deep throws had to come because Jeter was kind of slow with the reaction on picking up the ground ball at shortstop.
Well, that's true. I mean, and then you look at the stats, right? You're talking about Ozzie Smith with 13 Gold Gloves versus Jeter with 5.
The Wizard of Oz was a sick-ass defender. Like, that is definitely true. He was a great defensive player. So I can see why they would have gone with Ozzie Smith, definitely.
Now for power, we're sticking with Barry Bonds, or are we going Mark McGwire?
Definitely Barry Bonds. Definitely Barry Bonds. I haven't seen anybody hit a baseball like Barry Bonds ever. Before or after the juice. Like, with the steroids, it was video game numbers. Barry Bonds wasn't even playing in the same league as everybody else.
This is true.
Barry Bonds legit was making the MLB look like Slugfest 99.
Oh man,
Like, it was
games
ridiculous.
with the turbo.
Yeah. He was hitting turbo homers, and this is with him getting walked 300 times a season. Like, Barry Bonds hit 73 home runs, and I think that same year he had, 270-something walks.
Yeah.
Like, half of his at-bats got taken away by walks, and he still hit 73 home runs. So imagine if they would have actually pitched to him. He could have been the first player ever to hit 100 home runs in a season.
Do you think Ohtani is showing strength like Barry Bonds?
No. But I think it's kind of an unfair advantage because Barry Bonds played in an era where not just the hitters were on steroids, but the pitchers were on steroids too. So that fastball high in the zone at 99, 100, 101 consistently, if you get good contact on that, it's flying. That's why Sosa and Giambi and McGuire and Sheffield and Jim Tomei and Frank Thomas and all of those big, strong guys that had eye contact, that could see the ball really well and drive it the directions they needed it to.
Yeah.
That's why they were able to kill the way they were. Mike Piazza, Mo Vaughn, David Ortiz, those guys that had good vision for the ball and then had the weight and then the extra little steroid pump to give them a little extra power, they were able to rocket launch a lot of them shits. And so Ohtani is good, but he's more of a pure swing guy. But I think Barry Bonds overall is the best baseball player I've ever seen, with or without the juice. Now, if we're talking just purely skill, Ken Griffey Jr. is the greatest baseball player of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I agree with you 100%.
Beautiful swing, too.
Ken Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr. was just amazing.
Yeah, he was
Absolutely
different.
amazing.
He was different. Offensively,
Absolutely.
defensively, if injuries wouldn't have took the last like 5-6 seasons from Griffey, he might have gone down as the definitive greatest baseball player ever.
There was a lot of baseball players that just honestly injuries kind of plagued their career and just like destroyed what they could have
Oh
been.
yeah.
There definitely
Oh, yeah.
was a lot, and that's because I think during that time they were just trying so hard and they were going so hard to try to be the next best player that it just ruined their career and they weren't able to rebound the way they should have been able to rebound. But modern day medicine is a lot different than what it was back then, though. The rehabilitation process is a lot different now than what it would have been back then. So imagine where half of those players would be now if they had the rehabilitation process and the physical therapy that we have now.
At a time, I thought that Albert Pujols was going to end up breaking the all-time home run record. And injuries really fucked him up. When he left St. Louis and went to the Angels, and I guess their medical team wasn't as good as St. Louis was. And
No, they weren't, because look what happened to Vladimir Guerrero, too. Vladimir Guerrero kind of, his production value kind of went down with the Angels.
The Angels have had like a lot of really good players that could have been great players had they not fucked it up. Like Sean Figgins was really, really good.
And had they not
Garrett
been
Anderson.
owned, had they not been owned by Disney back then.
Garrett Anderson was really, really good. Mike Trout recently. And the Angels just don't do anything with their great players
No,
at all.
They don't.
So it's a shame. That's a terrible organization. Your career goes there to die. But
And Vladimir Guerrero for being a psycho and playing without batting gloves.
yeah, Vlad Guerrero had one of the strangest, like choppiest, nastiest swings I've ever seen.
And it fucking worked.
But yeah, he was hitting everything.
And look
I
at
remember
fucking
one time. They were playing in, I want to say it was the ALCS against the Yankees. And Mussina was pitching. And Mussina throws, Mussina, his curveball was like
it was crazy.
ridiculous. And he threw a curveball, and that shit bounced on the ground before it got to home plate. And Vlad Guerrero still chopped that shit in the left field and got a single off of it. And I was like, that is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
That is
man.
fucking ridiculous.
Good times.
Yes, sir.
Really good times. So it's safe to say that you're in agreement with.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. I think they got it right. They did a pretty good job with like breaking down the best baseball player of all time.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely
They-
agree.
They did really well with that.
Definitely. I definitely agree there. So, well, that's my 2-minute warning.
Oddly
Side
enough,
note. Side note, really quickly,
uh-huh.
before we jump on, Diana Taurasi, 42
Okay.
fucking years old and still playing in the WNBA.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It speaks to the competition in the WNBA. Because it's not a physical game and it's not super athletic. Of course, they're all more athletic than me. But in terms of like athletes, because it's not super athletic,
Yeah,
she'll probably be able to play till she's 50.
potentially.
Because you
I
don't
mean,
have to be
Let's see.
outrageously fast or strong or big. And Diana Taurasi, she can shoot. So
How do you feel about the WNBA USA team talking trash about the WNBA All-Star team that they played against in the exhibition game, stating that they didn't go as hard as they could have gone?
if you lost, then you lost. You got to shut the fuck up. And if you lost because you didn't go hard, then you lost twice. Because A, you lost the score, and B, how you come out here and don't give your best in a competition amongst your peers? Like that just make you seem like even more of a loser. There's an idea that's been floating around, and I want to ask your opinion on it.
What is it?
On how to make the All-Star game more interesting. And a lot of people are saying you could do what the MLB does. Winner of the All-Star game gets home field advantage in the World Series. What do you think about something like that for the NBA? regardless of record, winner of the All-Star game gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals?
I really, really don't know. Because at the end of the day, it's like, is the East or the West really going to be, like, competing as hard as they can to see if they could get home court advantage? Because at the end of the day, the way these players are, they're not going to give a shit entirely at all. Play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and you take it seriously. If you're not taking it seriously, and you're going to freaking just chuck up whatever shots you wanted to get chucked up, then have a seat on the bench and get fined.
All right. So it's funny that you did a sports-themed 2-minute warning, because my 2-minute warning is also sports-themed.
Here we go.
And we brought up the NBA.
Here we go.
So if you're watching at home, you will see ESPN's top 25 players of the 21st century. I noticed a couple of things about this list.
Okay.
Dwight Howard is missing again. They left Dwight Howard off the top 75, which I don't know how that makes any sense, because Dwight Howard is definitely one of the 75 best players in NBA history.
Okay.
They left Dwight Howard off. How is Carmelo Anthony not on this list? I don't see how you could put together this list and put Luka on here, which Luka just started. Luka is 5 years in. Luka in 5 years is better than Carmelo Anthony's whole career?
And you're putting Draymond in your top 25?
No! Draymond Green does not belong on this list.
That's exactly my point. I asked it as a question, because...
Especially if Klay Thompson is not on this list.
No.
Paul Pierce is not on this list.
No, he's not.
But you know what my biggest issue is with this list?
Dun, dun, dun. What is it?
Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili does not belong on this list.
Okay.
Because Manu Ginobili has never been a first option. Manu Ginobili has never had to carry a team. Manu Ginobili has never had to take the criticism for his team struggling. He's never had to be the go-to scapegoat for why it is that his team's not winning. He's always been a role player. And yeah, Manu Ginobili might be the greatest sixth man in the history of the NBA. He might be the greatest role player ever. But he's a role player. He's talented, he's skilled. There was nothing that he couldn't do on the court. But he wasn't even a starter. So how is it that he made this list over somebody like Carmelo Anthony and Paul Pierce, where every game that their team lost, they had to take the blame? That is my question. Now I kick it to you.
Why weren't we considering Michael Jordan on this list if he retired in 2003?
Because he only played 3 years, and those 3 years were the Wizards' years, and he wasn't better than anybody in those 3 years.
Okay.
Like, he was... I mean, he still averaged 20 when he was, like, 40 years old on the Wizards, but he wasn't as good as, Tony Parker in the 2000s, I would say. But there are a couple of key people that are missing here.
Why is Vince Carter not on this list? We are talking about Vince Carter during his Toronto days, who was a fucking menace on the Raptors. 24 points, 24.7 points he was averaging. On the Nets, 25.2 points. And was an absolute fucking menace. We're talking about 7 straight three-pointers in one game. We're talking about outrageous dunks. We're talking about cutting the floor. He was just a fucking menace. Vince Carter was one of my favorite players. But Kevin Garnett is my all-time favorite player.
Paul Pierce should be on this list. And he has a ring. So I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the politics of his falling out that he had with ESPN. Because he was drinking Henny and was dancing with them strippers on his live stream while he was working for ESPN. So maybe it has something to do with that.
Now, pardon my controversial statement that I am about to make, but I'm going to stand firm on what I'm about to say. Steph Curry doesn't belong in the top 3.
All right, so where do you put him? Wait, where do you put him?
I put him top 5, but I don't put him in the top 3.
So you're moving up Duncan and Shaq?
I'm moving up Duncan and Shaq.
And then Steph is at 5?
I'll put him at 5, but I'm not putting him at 3.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. Top 25 gets a little bit murky because, Tracy McGrady, this is his era. And he had some injury problems. He wasn't at his best. But, T-Mac in Houston was just different. Steve Francis, Amari Stoudemire. There are a lot of people that are not on this list. Stephon Marbury, Darren Williams. They didn't win.
Jeremy Lin. No, I'm joking.
But putting Draymond on this list over those guys is nuts. And I'm not shooting at Draymond because I fuck with Draymond. I think Draymond is exactly what you need to win a championship.
What about Andre Iguodala?
Andre Iguodala is another really good one.
He's not on the list. I would put him top 25, especially back when he was with Philly.
That's another really good one.
Andre Iguodala was just a fucking beast. Like, yeah, when he went to the Warriors, he was at the tail end of his career.
Yeah, he only had like 5 good years left.
Yeah.
He decided to spend them coming off the bench there.
But when Andre Iguodala was with Philly
And when he was with Denver?
and Denver, no.
Yeah, he was going 8.
He was a fucking menace.
Yeah.
He was a fucking menace. So, ESPN, you done fucked up. You got the list wrong. You just...
I can think of a few people that deserve to be on this list before Draymond. Like you said, Andre Iguodala. I would argue Kevin Love. Chris Bosh.
Kevin Love, I can see that.
But that's it for me. That's my 2-minute warning.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Ant and CJ show. I'm Ant. This is Petty Pendergrass, Mr. CJ. This has been another amazing episode. Like, subscribe. We're on a quest to hit 5,000 followers across all our social media accounts. So like and subscribe. Our information is down below. Go hit up our new website, theantandcjshow.com. We are live. Send us your video ideas there. We have a direct contact link through there. So go ahead and hit us on our socials. This has been the Ant and CJ Show. We're out.